The storm should have killed him. The winds on Zora 9 were strong enough to rip metal apart, yet somehow one human explorer was still walking through the blizzard. His suit was frozen, his scanner was failing, and the night was swallowing the world around him. But humans had a strange habit. They survived things that should have been impossible. And tonight, that stubborn human survival instinct would lead him somewhere no alien civilization expected. Into a cave that did not belong to him. Into the home of someone who had been watching humanity for centuries. And into a story that would one day change the fate of two species. The storm howled across the frozen plains like a living creature. Ice crystals spun through the air so fast that they felt like needles against exposed skin. Even through the layers of thermal fabric, Captain Adrian Vale could feel the cold trying to bite its way into his bones. Zora 9 was supposed to be quiet. A forgotten ice planet at the edge of explored space. That was the official description. But Adrian had already learned something important about exploration. Official descriptions were often wrong. His scanner flickered again. The small device strapped to his wrist made a weak beeping sound before the screen went black. Adrian sighed. Perfect timing, he muttered. The wind nearly knocked him off his feet. He steadied himself and looked ahead, squinting through the endless white storm. The settlement was somewhere behind him. The shuttle was several kilometers away. And right now, none of that mattered. If he stayed outside much longer, he would freeze. Then he saw it. A dark shape against the white storm. A cave. Adrian didn't hesitate. He pushed forward, leaning into the wind as the storm screamed around him. Each step felt heavier than the last. The ice beneath his boots was slippery and uneven. Finally, he reached the entrance. The cave opened like a dark mouth in the side of a frozen cliff. The moment he stepped inside, the storm noise faded slightly. Not completely, but enough to breathe. Adrian leaned against the cold stone wall and pulled off his helmet. Cold air filled his lungs. But compared to the storm outside, it almost felt warm. He laughed quietly. Best hotel on the planet, he said to himself. Then he noticed something strange. The cave wasn't empty. Farther inside, a faint orange glow flickered against the walls. Fire. Adrian frowned. That made no sense. Zora 9 had no known life. No colonies. No alien settlements. Yet there was clearly a fire burning deeper inside the cave. His explorer instincts immediately woke up. Slowly, carefully, he walked deeper into the cave. The glow grew brighter. The air became warmer. And then he saw her. A woman sat beside the fire. For a moment, Adrian thought he was hallucinating. She looked almost human. Almost. Her skin shimmered faintly in the firelight, like pale silver metal reflecting distant stars. Long hair flowed down her back, moving slightly even though there was no wind. And her eyes. Her eyes glowed softly violet. But the most unusual thing was the calm way she sat there. As if she had expected him. Adrian froze. The woman slowly turned her head. Her glowing eyes met his. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then she tilted her head slightly. "You are human," she said softly. Her voice sounded musical, almost echoing through the cave. Adrian blinked. "Well," he said carefully, "that depends." She raised an eyebrow. "Depends on what?" Adrian shrugged. "On whether this is real or if I finally froze to death outside." To his surprise, the alien woman smiled. "You are alive," she said. "Good to know." Adrian stepped closer to the fire. The warmth felt incredible after the storm. He held his hands out toward the flames and sighed in relief. "Thanks for not throwing me back outside," he said. "You entered my home without permission," she replied calmly. Adrian nodded. "Fair point." He sat down across from her. The firelight danced between them. For the first time, he studied her carefully. She was definitely alien. But not in the terrifying way humans had imagined aliens. She looked peaceful, ancient, powerful, and curious. "You live here?" Adrian asked. "Yes." "On this planet?" "Yes." "Alone?" The alien woman paused. For a long time, she answered. Adrian leaned back against the stone wall. Well, he said, this might be the weirdest survival story I've ever had. Her glowing eyes studied him. You are not afraid, she said. Adrian thought about that. Then he shook his head. Not really. Why? He smiled slightly. Because humans meet strange things all the time. She seemed interested. Stranger than meeting an alien inside a frozen cave. Adrian laughed. Actually, not by much. The alien woman watched him for a moment. Then she asked a question. Why did your people come to this world? Adrian hesitated. The official answer was simple. Exploration. Science. But the real answer was more complicated. Humans explore, he said finally. We always have. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Even when the universe is dangerous. Adrian nodded. Especially then. The alien woman looked at the fire. For a moment she seemed thoughtful. Your species is unusual, she said. Adrian raised an eyebrow. How many species have you met? She looked back at him. Enough to know that most civilizations fear the unknown. Adrian grinned. Humans usually run toward it. The fire crackled between them. Outside, the storm raged against the mountain. But inside the cave, something unexpected was happening. Two different species sat across from each other. Learning. Watching. Thinking. And neither of them yet realized something important. The cave was not just shelter. It was a meeting point. A moment in history where two very different paths were about to cross. And soon, the rest of the galaxy would learn a dangerous truth about humanity. Humans were not the weakest species in the stars. They were the most unpredictable. The storm outside the cave continued to rage like a furious beast. But inside, the air felt calm. Warm firelight flickered against the icy walls, painting strange shadows that moved like silent ghosts. Captain Adrian Vale sat across from the alien woman, still trying to understand how a quiet survival stop had turned into the most important discovery of his life. He had traveled across dozens of planets. He had studied strange ruins, ancient signals, and abandoned alien technology. But never had he met a living alien face to face. And strangely, he didn't feel afraid. Curious. Yes. Confused. Definitely. But fear. Not really. Humans had a strange relationship with the unknown. Instead of running from it, they usually leaned closer. The alien woman watched him carefully, as if studying a puzzle. You are calmer than most, she said. Adrian smiled slightly. That's because most humans panic first and think later. Her violet eyes glowed softly. And you? I try to think first. The alien woman nodded slowly. A rare trait among explorers. Adrian laughed quietly. Trust me. Most explorers are just curious people who refuse to stay home. The fire popped loudly, sending sparks into the air. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Adrian asked the question that had been sitting in his mind since he arrived. You said the storms on this planet aren't natural. The alien woman didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked toward the cave entrance where the storm roared beyond the darkness. They are not storms, she said finally. They are echoes. Adrian frowned. Echoes of what? The alien woman slowly stood. Her movements were graceful and silent, almost like flowing water. She walked toward the back of the cave. Come, she said. Adrian hesitated for half a second. Then curiosity won. He stood and followed her deeper into the cave. The tunnel curved downward. The air became colder again, but the strange glow from the woman's skin lit the path just enough to see. Adrian noticed something strange. The walls were smooth. Too smooth. This cave isn't natural, he said. No, she replied. It is not. They walked for several minutes until the tunnel suddenly opened into a massive underground chamber. Adrian stopped. His breath caught in his throat. The entire cavern was filled with alien structures. Huge metal rings floated silently in the air. Strange crystal pillars pulsed with faint blue energy. And in the center of the chamber stood something enormous. A machine. Ancient. Powerful. And still active. Adrian stared in shock. What is this? The alien woman stepped beside him. This is why the storms exist. Adrian slowly walked closer to the machine. His explorer instincts were now fully awake. He could feel the energy humming in the air. This isn't weather control, he said. It's something bigger. Yes. He looked at her. How old is it? The alien woman answered calmly. Older than most civilizations in this galaxy. Adrian whistled quietly. That's impressive. He studied the machine carefully. Human technology was advanced. But this was something else entirely. Let me guess, Adrian said. You've been guarding it. The alien woman nodded. For centuries. Adrian turned toward her. And the storms. They protect the machine. From what? Her glowing eyes met his. From everyone. Adrian leaned against one of the stone pillars and crossed his arms. So let me understand this. He gestured toward the giant structure. This thing is ancient alien technology. Yes. It creates planet-wide storms. Yes. And you've been guarding it for hundreds of years. Yes. Adrian rubbed his chin. Well, that explains the terrible weather. For the first time, the alien woman actually laughed. It was soft, but real. You are unusual, she said. Most species react with fear. Adrian shrugged. Humans react with questions. He walked closer to the machine. Lights inside the structure pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Let me guess something, Adrian said. This machine isn't just making storms. The alien woman remained silent. Adrian looked at her. It's hiding something. Her expression changed slightly. You are perceptive. Adrian grinned. That's explorer code for I guessed correctly. The alien woman slowly stepped beside him. The storms hide this world from the galaxy. Adrian blinked. Wait, hide it. Yes. Why? Her voice grew quieter. Because something is sleeping beneath the ice. Adrian felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. Sleeping. Yes. He looked around the chamber again. Suddenly, the machine didn't feel like protection. It felt like containment. What kind of something? He asked. The alien woman took a slow breath. An ancient power. Adrian sighed. Of course it is. She looked confused. You expected this. He shrugged. In human exploration history, whenever someone finds ancient alien technology, there's usually something dangerous involved. She studied him carefully. Yet you are still curious. Adrian smiled. Curiosity is kind of humanity's superpower. The alien woman looked thoughtful. Curiosity has destroyed many civilizations. Adrian nodded. True. Then he looked directly at the machine again. But it has also saved many. The cavern trembled slightly. A deep rumbling sound echoed through the chamber. Both of them turned toward the giant machine. The lights inside it suddenly flickered faster. The alien woman's expression changed immediately. That should not be happening. Adrian's explorer instincts turned into survival instincts. What's wrong? Her voice was tense now. The system is waking up. Is that bad? She looked directly at him. Yes. Another deep rumble shook the cave. Ice cracked somewhere far above them. The machine began to glow brighter. And for the first time since Adrian had entered the cave, the alien guardian looked afraid. Something beneath the frozen planet was starting to move. And if the ancient machine failed, the storm outside would be the least of their problems. Because humanity had just accidentally arrived at the most dangerous secret in the galaxy. And now, They were standing right on top of it. The ancient machine roared to life. Deep vibrations rolled through the cavern like distant thunder. Blue energy flashed across the metal rings, and the crystal pillars began glowing brighter with every passing second. Captain Adrian Vale stepped back instinctively. This was no longer just an interesting discovery. Something was waking up. And whatever it was, the alien guardian was clearly terrified of it. The alien woman stared at the machine, her glowing violet eyes wide with shock. "This cannot be happening," she whispered. Adrian looked at her quickly. "Okay, I'm going to need more information than that." Another violent tremor shook the cavern. Small chunks of ice fell from the ceiling and shattered against the floor. The machine's humming sound grew louder. Adrian raised his voice. "What exactly is waking up?" The alien woman finally turned to him. "An ancient intelligence." Adrian blinked. "Define ancient." Her voice trembled slightly. "Older than most stars your species has studied." Adrian let out a long breath. "Of course it is." The cavern shook again. The crystal pillars now pulsed rapidly, sending waves of blue light across the room. Adrian's explorer instincts were working overtime. He stared at the machine, studying the patterns of light. Then he noticed something. The machine wasn't just activating. It was malfunctioning. Energy sparks jumped between the floating rings. One of the crystal pillars cracked loudly. Adrian pointed. "That doesn't look like a normal startup sequence." The alien woman followed his gaze. Her expression darkened. "It is not." "Then what is it?" She hesitated before answering. "It is failing." Adrian's stomach dropped. "Failing how?" "The containment system is breaking." Adrian turned slowly toward the giant structure beneath the machine. "You mean, the thing under the ice?" "Yes." A deep sound echoed through the cavern. Not mechanical. Not natural. Something else. Something massive shifting in the darkness below. Adrian felt the vibration through the ground. "Oh, that's not good." The alien woman closed her eyes briefly. For centuries the storms kept this world hidden. No ships, no signals, no visitors. Adrian crossed his arms. And then humans showed up. "Yes." Adrian sighed. Humanity has a talent for arriving exactly when things start going wrong. The machine suddenly sparked violently. One of the metal rings dropped several meters before stabilizing again. The alien woman looked panicked now. If the system collapses completely, the creature below will awaken. Adrian raised an eyebrow. "Creature?" Her eyes met his. "A cosmic predator." Adrian laughed once. Not because it was funny, but because the universe had just become ridiculous. "So let me summarize." He counted on his fingers. "Ancient machine." "Yes." "Planet-wide storms." "Yes." "Galaxy-eating monster sleeping under the ice." "Yes." Adrian nodded slowly. "Just wanted to confirm we're dealing with the full disaster package." The alien woman looked at him with disbelief. "You are not afraid?" Adrian thought about that. Then he smiled. "Oh, I'm terrified." Another rumble shook the cavern. "But humans do our best thinking when things get scary." He stepped closer to the machine again. The lights were flickering now. Energy pulses moved through the system like a failing heartbeat. Adrian studied the structure carefully. Then he noticed something important. The design wasn't just alien. It was logical, structured, predictable. In other words, fixable. Adrian pointed toward a damaged crystal pillar. "That's the problem." The alien woman followed his gesture. "Yes. The energy stabilizer." Adrian crouched beside it. The crystal had a deep fracture running through the center. "Why didn't you repair it?" She looked confused. "The system was built by a civilization far beyond mine. I cannot change its design." Adrian stood and smiled. "Lucky for you, humans are experts at fixing things we don't understand." She stared at him. You cannot simply repair ancient alien technology. Adrian shrugged. Watch me. He pulled a small toolkit from his belt. The alien woman looked shocked. That equipment cannot possibly interact with this system. Adrian activated a scanner. Probably not. He examined the energy pattern inside the crystal. But energy is still energy. The readings appeared on his screen. Chaotic. But not random. Adrian grinned. Okay. I see what happened. The alien woman stepped closer. You understand it? Not completely. He opened his toolkit. But enough. The machine shook again. From deep below, the monstrous sound returned. Louder this time. The alien woman looked toward the dark abyss beneath the machine. It is waking. Adrian worked quickly. Then we should hurry. He removed a small energy conductor from his toolkit. A simple human device. Crude compared to the alien system. But effective. You're seriously going to fix a million-year-old alien machine with that? She asked. Adrian nodded. Humans once repaired a spaceship engine with chewing gum. She stared at him. That cannot be true. Adrian inserted the conductor into the cracked crystal. Trust me. It is. The machine suddenly flared with light. Energy surged through the system. For a terrifying second, Adrian thought he had made it worse. Then the crystal stabilized. The fractured energy pattern smoothed. The floating rings stopped shaking. The rumbling beneath the ice slowly faded. Silence returned to the cavern. Adrian leaned back and exhaled. Well, that worked. The alien woman stared at the machine in disbelief. The system was stable again. The ancient predator beneath the ice had stopped moving. You repaired it. Adrian smiled. Temporary fix. She looked at him with awe. My people studied this system for centuries and could not understand it. Adrian shrugged. Humans don't need to understand everything. He tapped the repaired crystal. Sometimes we just need to make it work. The alien woman studied him carefully. Your species is remarkable. Adrian laughed. We're mostly stubborn. She looked toward the quiet machine. For thousands of years, the galaxy feared what sleeps beneath this world. Adrian crossed his arms. Well, now it has something new to fear. What? Adrian grinned. Humans. The alien woman smiled for the first time since the crisis began. Outside, the storm continued to howl across the frozen planet. But deep inside the cave, something important had changed. Two species had met. A disaster had been stopped. And somewhere out in the vast galaxy, humanity had just proven something extraordinary. Even ancient cosmic horrors weren't prepared for the creativity of humans. Because when humanity faces the impossible, they don't run. They adapt. They improvise. And somehow, they win.